We're already having issues.
Yes, are you good? It's freezing, it's feeding. I'm trying to, and we've done test runs. Or should we take Dr. Aderinsola first while you fix your internet? I'm trying to chat him up. Okay, it says we should give him some time. Dr. Aderinsola, let me play Dr. Aderinsola's profile because time is our friend today. While we have Dr. Malik. Okay, so.
Aderinsola Adio-Adepoju is an educator, coach, academic entrepreneur, and expert on the SDGs and accessing global opportunities, an advocate for youth and women empowerment through skills acquisition as a means of achieving the SDGs. Aderinsola is an Unleashed ambassador in 2021 and 2022, and UPG Sustainability Leader of 2021, and has won several global opportunities such as grants, awards, business labs, innovation labs, and fellowships that have taken her across 5 continents. Dr. Aderinsola Adio-Adepoju has trained 15,000 plus youths across Africa via various means on the SDGs and how to access such opportunities via her programs and 4 online communities with over 9,000 plus members across 4 continents. Aderinsola is the convener of the Global Mentorship Conference for African Youth, an annual conference for youths across Africa. The maiden edition, October 2021, had over 15,000 registered participants from 40 plus African countries and speakers from 25 plus nations. Aderinsola is an academic who taught chemistry at the university between 2019 and 2022 with a mission to shape the lives of 500,000 youths by 2023. Dr. Adio-Adepoju is an international speaker and coach with a track record of inspiring, educating, motivating, and helping our audience achieve clarity, direction, and results. Aderinsola is an entrepreneur with a mini MBA from the International Finance Corporation, IFC. She has over 13 years of management teaching experience. Mrs. Adio-Adepoju is the founder of I Train Africa, an EdTech social enterprise with a vision to build an ecosystem of African youths who have the clarity, knowledge, and skills to build the future we want. Aderinsola currently serves as the Global Program Coordinator at the Museum for the United Nations UN Live on a climate action project, Global We, covering 25 locations globally. Dr. Mrs. Aderinsola is happily married and blessed with children.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can I see your virtual chat, your emoji, as we welcome to the platform Dr. Aderinsola. You're welcome. Great profile, right? Amazing profile.
Hey everybody. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, my namesake, because I see you have Adepoju in your name. And good evening, everybody. First, it's my pleasure to be here today because I love to teach. So it's always my pleasure when I'm called to teach. And I think I have 30 minutes. So let's hope that I utilize it well to, like I say, open the eyes of some people that are here. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen right about now. So we are going to do this pretty soon. Okay, so if you can see my screen, just type in the comment section, yes, that is all I need. It's going to be an interactive session. So thank you very much. I can see Elizabeth Agbo says, we celebrate your excellence. Thank you very much. Okay, Susan Jasper says you can, yes, yes, yes. I can see your screen too. So let's get going to this issue of today. What we are talking about, global relevance. First, I would say I'm a teacher that teaches with, well, I say experience and stories, because I want you to follow me, right? And that is why I named this particular slide, My Pathway to Global Relevance, meaning that someone else could do it another way, but I am telling you what I have done and it has worked. So that is, all this around about me. And why do I always leave this slide in every of my presentation? I want you to see what is possible, what someone is living, right? Like if you probably meet me on the street, you may not even know me. Like, but when you see this, you're like, okay, yeah, like all that stuff. I want you to see what is possible. I'm that person that people refer to as a multi-potentialite because I do many things. But the beautiful thing is I'm not a jack of all trades. How do I explain that? Because I would say I'm a generalist specialist who has excelled in different things, right? It means that I can be an expert in the different things I do, and that is obvious. We are talking about global relevance. If you ask me one word, who are you? I say I'm a global citizen. I'm one person who has been to 5 continents on somebody else's money. What does that mean? Meaning that I've attracted several global opportunities. There are about 10 categories, which I will get to in this webinar. And maybe I've gotten like from 8 categories. Nothing less than 35 global opportunities have come my way. And you must be wondering, because why am I doing this? I discovered that when you are teaching people, you first need to open their mind to what is possible. You need to make them see that someone is living the dream that you desire. I'm that person, and I know, I don't take it for granted, that I'm living some people's dream. And I know that, right? I know I'm living some people's dream life. Last year, I worked as a design lead at NHM remotely, right? That's in the Natural History Museum of London. By September, I joined UN Live, that is a museum for the United Nations, working remotely, sitting in Nigeria. Now, of course, I'm an academic. I finished my PhD in December last year. My convocation was this January. I'm not what am I saying all this? I was doing that. I gave birth on January when I have a baby who will probably come here at some point, right? I was doing all that. And I specifically say this, I know there are women. Oh, I was just saying it and they brought my baby. So I'm just going to excuse them, right? I want you to see what is really possible. Come out, say hello, right? I'm in a meeting, so just hold him for a bit. I'll be with you in 20 minutes. So I want you to see what is possible, because I am really passionate about opening the mind of women, right? Can you take him downstairs, please? Thank you. I want you to see what is possible. Whenever I'm coaching women, they keep saying, well, I'm a mom, I'm a this. When you ask them, how come you're not pursuing these things? They say, I'm a woman, I'm married, I have a baby, I have this, I have that. And I'm like, you are not ready, right? You are not ready. When you are ready, you would open up your mind and see what is possible. Now, let's move. This is me living my life as a wife, happily married woman, right? Living my life, working remotely for UN Live. Give me a minute, please. I think there's a noise coming from my background. I need to close my window. So now that you know what is possible as a woman, let's go. If you are ready, like who here, who wants to understand my pathways to becoming globally relevant? Who, if you don't say yes, I will now, look, I'm a teacher, right? You know, when they were introducing me, I said I taught at university. Right? Okay, great. So yes. You must always be interacting with me in the comment section. When I ask a question, you answer. Okay, that is how we do it. So let's get right to it. There are three major pathways that I have used. And that is why I say this one is not like, I'm not teaching from theory. No, that I have used to become globally relevant. And today, in this particular training, I'll probably be discussing majorly one, because definitely this is what I teach like for hours on end. So I can probably just take a few points from one, which is securing global opportunities. And why am I choosing this one? It is because that is where I started. That is where that is why I started before I moved on to selling my knowledge borderlessly and working globally. I started from securing global opportunities. Now, you say you want to gain global relevance. I see a lot of people saying, I want to be a billionaire. And I say, billionaire doing what? Do you understand? And people are looking at you like, hey, I just want to have money. I said, no. Something must be done to have that money. Like, you could be globally relevant for being the best slipper seller, right? But there has to be something in your hand that you're going to present. There has to be something in your hand. So now that we know that there has to be something, like I want to be rich is not how to be globally. Like Dangote is rich, all of us know that. But when you hear Dangote, his name is synonymous to business, running exceptional conglomerates in Africa across different industries. So when you hear his name, it is synonymous to an excellent business person. And that is where many people get it wrong. When they come to our program and say, man, I just want to secure global reputation. Okay, what do you bring to the table? And they're like, hey, but you have gotten, I said, you thought I went there and started saying, I bring nothing to the table. I have to bring something to the table. Now, where did I start? First, I was just a regular PhD student, you know, BSc, MSc, you are doing PhD, but I've always been impact oriented. Always, I knew that. I knew I wanted to teach. If I knew nothing, had clarity around nothing, I wanted to be a teacher. That is the only reason I did a PhD, nothing else. When I tell people I had a PhD in chemistry, well, I said the only reason I wanted PhD was so that I could teach at the university. That was a requirement in Nigeria. If I was probably living abroad and I knew that I could teach based on experience, you know, like abroad, you have teachers, lecturers that are like they teach from the industry, right, based on their experience. But I wasn't presented that option here in Nigeria. So you had to go to school, do BSc, MA. I wanted to teach, and I wanted to teach adults. Standard. I wanted to teach adults. Children are not my thing, like teaching children. So it meant that I needed to go on a path of PhD to have access to adults to teach. And unfortunately, when I embarked on that journey, there was access to the internet, but the knowledge industry, that is the non-formal, you know, like right now I'm a coach, I have courses and all those things. It was not a thing, right? You had people that were consultants, but this old full-blown knowledge industry was not a thing. So I felt the way I was going to make my impact was to teach at the university. I have access to those students. So I'm that teacher that when I was teaching chemistry, Unilag, right? I'll be teaching you, and I'm teaching you life skills because I felt that is what you needed. So I'll teach you chemistry, I'll teach you some life skills in class. And it was very interesting. My students always like, I was always doing, you know, a lot of, I like you after kind of class talk and all those things. Now, I was a PhD student in 2016, doing my thing, but in my department, I had to secure a grant to do my work, to complete my work. So it meant for me, when I started looking for global opportunities, it was not a question of, it was not luxury. It was it's either I get it or I get it. If I don't get it, I can't do I didn't have the money to carry out that research. I was building a biosensor. right? It meant I needed someone to fund that research. I needed money to travel abroad to a lab that could do it, at least a part of my research. So it was more like it was a do or die, let's put it that way. If I wanted to complete that PhD, so I could become a lecturer and do all this, I needed it. Now, here is what happened. 2016, I was on an application spree for grants. Unfortunately, when people ask me, why did I start teaching, like, why did I choose the topic global opportunities to be teaching online and all those things? I said, it started from a pain point. When I was looking for global opportunities that to apply for, I was seeing, right? But the question was there a thing, an online course, an agency, whatever, that I could say I'm paying for their online course and I could get the knowledge on how to apply? No, I couldn't. So it meant that I was at the mercy of my lecturer's friend or whatever, people that have applied for such grants before. And I will now be going, Mark, can I see you today? They say, come tomorrow. Can I see you next tomorrow? Things like that. I'm not that, I hate to be at people's mercy. Like, I'm that kind of person that once I see someone has knowledge, the person has a coaching lesson, I pay them and go and learn from them because I value my time. But I did not even have access to buy because it didn't exist. Now, the next thing that happened was I got a win in 2017, July, 1.5 years. And when I say 1.5 years, if you know me, I'm intense. Like, what somebody will do in 1 month, I can do it in 1 week. I'm very intense. It meant that I was applying. I had an Excel sheet of application of different things I'd apply to. Maybe the most difficult one, Slum, the JRSM, I was applying to all of them. Now, it got to a point that I was not even just applying for, academic grants. I was applying for anything I see. In the course of you looking for, you see anything, I applied. And that was the first thing I won, right? It was an all-expensive water resources training to Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. This one required minimal effort. I'd applied so much, I just said, okay, let me just fill one form, and I filled it and I got it. Now, here is the thing. The moment I got into the first one, that was turning point in my life. Because I went to Brazil, I met people, especially one lady from Malawi, because it was an all-expensive global thing that people were from different countries. See, when I met this lady, she's Dr. Maggie. And she said she had five different things that she was holding in terms of brands. And I was like, how come I've been looking for one to win? And I couldn't get it. And she said, dearie, you just need to win one. And the others will start rolling in.
Hello, doctor, you're muted.
Sorry, I had noise. I was trying to, So now, it meant that I needed that thing. I got into the Brazil thing, and she just told me, you've won one. Everything's going to start rolling in. And I was like, how? She was like, because now you belong to a network. This is where I'm going to with this. And I sent a letter. She said, yes. She said, once you belong to one of these networks, they start to refer you. They start to, things start to come your way. And I was like, wow. Between 2017 and 2019, I lost count. From Brazil to Singapore, to this, to that, UK, US, I was on a spree. It got to a point I said, you know what, I'm not applying again. At this point, I need to sit with my family. You get global opportunities so much that you say, I ain't doing it again. So it meant that I needed a break, one break into a global network. Now, after 2019, what I did with it, I'll talk about it later. Let's move. That is my story. And please, whenever I say something, I want you to pay attention, because I always say success leaves footprints. When people are telling you about their story, pick things from it. They just dropped you great hints on what you could do. Now, global opportunity. I told that millions exist. Scholarships alone, 1.7 million are released annually. Now, there are two major things you could do with global opportunities. Is that you are applying for them or you are attracting them. The stage of life, remember I said that in 2019, what I did after 2019 is a different story. It meant that I could either apply for them, which is what I was doing before 2019, or I could attract them. Now, the question that comes to many people's mind when I get to this kind of point when I'm talking is, can I get it too? Like, what do I have? And I'm like, you carry value.
I want it to.
Right? You just don't realize it yet. Now, category one of people that needs to be applied are youth. I always say when you are young, you don't have much experience. It means that you can apply to things like innovation lab, different things like that. I said, but when you are no more young, you have experience, the number of things you can apply to because of your age above 35 starts to drop. I said that is where you need to switch gear, and that is what I did. You need to switch gear to what attracting. And the one platform I've utilized since then that I had to switch gear is LinkedIn. That is where I started to continue to pursue my global relevance by attracting these opportunities. Why LinkedIn? And you must be asking, which one suits me? I'll tell you why LinkedIn in the next slide. But first, which one suits me? Like I said, if you're a youth, trust me, the 10 categories that exist, I don't want to go into detail, I don't have much time. Like, you can just find that in Africa for, there's a 2000 e-guide that explains 10 categories of global opportunities. Get it. But the one that's like youths, when I say youths, under 35, you have the luxury of applying for almost 10 categories of global opportunities. Above 35, it has to reduce. It really reduces. Now, experienced professional, you have the luxury of attracting and still applying, right? So what suits you needs to be determined by several things, and I call them eligibility criteria. Now, if you're a professional, you are here, and you've not come, you've not carried your chair, especially if you have, when I say experienced professional, I don't mean I just finished school. No, I mean, you have some years of experience, 3, 4, 10, whatever, and you are not camping on LinkedIn right now. You are joking, and you want to build global relevance, and you are not on a platform where the algorithm favors you to be seen. And if you are wondering when I say the algorithm favors you to be seen, if you're in this webinar right now, you can just pause, quickly go to your Google Chrome. If you search me, Aderinsola, Adio-Adepoju, despite I've been featured on newspaper, internationally, all those, blah, 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 blah. Do you understand? My LinkedIn will rank up. My LinkedIn profile. Right? Why? The algorithm of that platform naturally favors you to be seen. And the platform is free. Now, I want you to take a look at this map. You see this map? How many? Nigeria? 6 million. If you add up the ones that in Africa, we are under 35 million. UK, small UK, has over 35 million. Then the first day I saw this, I said, Nigeria, 6 million. How? We graduate 500,000 literate people yearly. Even if the only thing we ever did was to have 4, 5 sets, it means that that is the number that is currently on LinkedIn. And I'm wondering, where is every other person that is saying, I want to be globally relevant? You are sitting and hiding in your house and you want to be seen. I want you to look at the United States. Almost 200 million people on this platform. The question I know many people has like, how? Like, as in really, I didn't know all this. Like I said, the moment I could not be applying for anything for two reasons, age and time. I did not have the luxury of time. In 2019, I started teaching at Unilag. It means I need to work. Where will I see the time to be applying and applying and applying? It means that I needed to change my tactics and say, I would just want to be sitting down on my own and people will be offering me. Then I discovered LinkedIn. Let's move. You are now saying, now, Dr. Derry, what do I do next? Now I know that this LinkedIn exists, if I have experience. I know that the other categories of global opportunities exist. If I'm young or even if I have experience, I can apply for them. What do I do next? The first thing, whether you are applying, you are trying to attract global opportunities to build global relevance. Remember, you're trying to build global relevance. The only way you can build any relevance at all is if you are present in networks or platforms where the global thing is, like the congregation of people that they are global in nature. If in the 21st century, now you do not have such network, go and start investing. I am that person. Till now, I always tell people, I say, when they say training is 250K, I look at the topic of what they want to teach. I know that thing. I know it. I've joined a 250K training before. That I was the one, I paid for the training, but I was the one helping the coach to teach people in class. That is how much I knew. What were they teaching? They were teaching design thinking and all that. I've been to a global innovation lab in Singapore where we spent 8 days learning design thinking and implementation and all those things. I know it. But why did I pay? Why do you think I paid? I had looked at that person's network. I needed access to that network. I paid for this person's program to join that person's network. I have realized that for you to do the shortcuts of arriving at the global stage, make sure. And the good thing is when I first built my own network, maybe when I finally had money, like to pay for things. But initially, what I had, I said, you cannot be broke and still not have time. When I was a broke student, I had the luxury of the time. I would apply. I would sit down months, one application, I'm spending 1 month. When I did not have that luxury again. But the common thing with both of them is that when I'm applying so I can get into a global network. When I'm trying to attract or using money to get into this thing, I'm trying to get into a global network. Whatever it is you do, whether you are trying to attract on a global net on LinkedIn, you are trying to apply, you are trying to use money. Why do you think people pay for conferences abroad? They are trying to get into a global network. Why? That is where the juice is. You will be sitting down on your own if you see what takes place in my LinkedIn inbox. People will be saying, even when they, like, let me give you an example. Just 2 weeks ago, someone reached out to me and said, she's from my Unleash network. Unleash network is my most popular network because that was the one that gave me a break. My Unleash network, that's the one that I said I'm an ambassador to 2 years. 163 countries are present in the Unleash network. It's a global innovation lab. They open it every year. You apply, they take 1,000 collects every year. It's all expense paid. Unleash in capital letter. That network, immediately I broke into it in 2018. I would say my UN live work came from somewhere there. But of course, my relevance on LinkedIn matters. So please, If you are saying what next, I've heard you, Dr. Deering. The next thing is to build the brand of you. You are a product. Tell yourself, I am a product. Say it, me, Aderinsola, I am a product. And I am going to sell myself shamelessly globally. What you are now selling yourself for depends on where you are. If you are trying to get jobs, work remotely, get global jobs, it means that headhunters are your customers. If I'm trying to get a job or whatever now on this thing, it means that when I'm on LinkedIn, I am strategically positioning to attract the attention of headhunters, that is recruiters. If I am trying to get global opportunities, all those whatever, innovation lab, all those things, right? Awarding bodies are my customers. If I am trying to get jobs, let's say I'm an owner of a company and I want people to consult me, whatever it is that you are trying to do, it means that my clients, remember at the beginning, I said there are 3 major ways that you can build global relevance, but we'll talk about one. One of the things I mentioned there is that you can sell your knowledge borderlessly. One person that I admire that sells the thing in his head borderlessly, the highest paid speaker in Africa, Vusi, is a South African. He was in Nigeria 2 weeks ago. They call his VT, this thing is just VT on Instagram. Vusitambu Kwayo is the highest paid speaker in Africa. He speaks and you listen. Now that you know that you have to sell yourself, you are not asking, like, I know I want to sell myself. How do I stand out? Here's my professional advice from the thousands of people I've trained, whether it is YouTube and everything like that. Learn to answer the question, who are you? For years, I couldn't answer that question. And that is why I applied for 1 year plus and was not getting results. Because the moment I started winning, I went to look at my application. What was the common thing in the winning applications? I had clarity. When I say what? Clarity around who I was. Because I had clarity on who I was, right? It means that I could sell myself as a product to another person. They would buy me. In this case, for global opportunities, the awarding bodies, they were buying me. Now, a free tip. And that is where I would round up. You cannot sell yourself, whether it is to an employer that wants to employ you globally, whether it is to an awarding body that is going to give you global opportunities. Because trust me, whether God is global opportunity that we are feeling, you are selling yourself. That is what you are doing. You are selling your product. You are selling yourself. I will do X, Y, Z. You are selling yourself. What you do. Whatever it is you do that you are saying, you must be able to ask, who am I? What am I doing for the world? The free tip I say I'm going to give you is, because I defined myself educator, I want to be an educator. I got that clarity. I want to be what? An educator for adults. That was where I started from. They asked me if I was going to be on the cover of a Vogue. One thing, you can do this exercise too, that if you are going to be on the cover of Vogue tomorrow, how do you want to be addressed? Of course, billionaire is not a thing. I'm saying, for what? Is it best businessman in Africa, greatest youth educator, whatever? What do you want to be on the cover of Vogue for? When you are crystal clear about it, then you start to sell it. You start to sell it. But when you are selling it, what thing that will call your attention to? You must align what you are to the global goals. Global goals are sustainable development goals. If you don't, the world will not align with you. Why? 193 member states in 2015 decided that all the problems that exist in the world, we are going to set goals on how we will solve them. 193 members, including your own country, or maybe Nigeria, whatever country you are. What do you think? The UN, all of them, they agreed, right? What does that imply? It means that me and you, we've agreed that this is the roadmap on how we are going to solve the global problems, right? You are now saying, me, I will stand in isolation. I will not do anything regarding that thing. Who do you think is going to give you something? All those global opportunities, who do you think is awarding it? It means that some people are saying, oh, we want to solve the, that is why you see some people say, I'm passionate about climate, as in all these people that are putting money in climate action. And people say it's about education. Different bodies, Melinda Gates, now you know what is passionate as an organization, you know what they formed. Right? Now, because I had clarity that I wanted to be an educator, it means that I knew that the SDG of interest to me, that is a sustainable development goal of interest to me, is education. And I also had interest in youth. Remember, I said I like to teach you in upskilling them to be able to have jobs, to be able to have, all these things, global relevance, to be able to access global opportunity. It meant that the second SDG of my interest was SDG 8, that is decent work and economic growth. The moment I identified my two SDGs like this, and I started incorporating it into the message of who I was and selling it, oh Lord, that was the end. Like that was the beginning. Now, the second thing you should take away from this is people only offer you global opportunities because of your perceived value. If they feel you don't bring anything to the table, nobody's going to give you. And that is why even when people know that I'm in a job, I have this, I have that, they will be coming to my inbox on LinkedIn and be saying, Derin, I know you are this thing, but is there somebody in your network? Is there a corner you can give this thing to? Or if it is of interest to you, my perceived value, the message I put out about myself. But you cannot put out any message about yourself if you've not even found clarity on who you are and what you want to serve the world for, what you want to do in the world. Lastly, please, just so you know, people who get offered global opportunities are not necessarily the best. They are the people who show that they are the value. And that will be all for today. If you got questions, I'll be here at the end of the webinar. So take it. Thank you very much. God bless.
Whoa! This young woman is joining us. Hey, please, in the chat room, can you tell me how it's doing you? How it is doing you? Earlier this year, one of the things we are telling ourselves at Read is that you cannot afford to be the weapon that is fashioned against yourself that will not allow yourself prosper. You've heard it. Yes, Emmanuel, it was very, very practical. I was in Tanzania earlier this year, ma'am, and I told myself, it's non-negotiable. I'm already planning my 2024 ahead of time. There are events, global events. Yes, Annette, wake up call, like, bah, 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 bah. You have been sleeping. Wake up. For the sake of our time, please write down your questions. This is very, thank you so much, ma'am. Please, ma, can you drop your handles in the chat box? She has lots of programs, different training programs. You've heard it. Interestingly, in the community, we are supposed to be on a LinkedIn challenge. You guys are hearing now. When I'm shouting this LinkedIn, it looks like you can't, you've heard her, you've had the opportunities, and that's because she doesn't even have the time to really go in depth. I really strongly encourage you, if you intend to be serious about your life, go on our website. Yeah, she's very clear. Of course, she's sure. Oversure the warrior. Just go on the website. Yes, Victor, mind-boggling information. Yes. And as an aside, I'm about to bring in Dr. Malik, and she's spoken so much about LinkedIn. You'll be hearing Dr. Malik talk about YouTube. Honestly, I'm very, very passionate about these things. Yes, we know that we are expecting more from our leaders. But there's this quote from, I'll remember his name now. I think it's Jack Ma, that if you're above 30 and you are still poor, your problem is yourself. If you are above 30 in this generation and you are poor, it is not village people, it is not anything. You are your own problem. If you cannot get money to buy trainings, you can't join a network, your data, you are using it to follow blogs that is not adding value to you. You spend your entire time on things that is not adding value, and you are wondering why your bank account is the way it is. I come in peace. For the sake of our time, let's have Dr. Malik. Dr. Malik, we have prayed, we fasted, what else did we do? These are people must be liberated now.
Oh my God. It is well.
Yes. Okay, so up next, we are having Dr. Malik.
Yes, so let's just go straight into the meat of the day before we have another incident.
Don't worry, we'll be fine. Dr. Derek, please, you can stop sharing. You can still see your screen, Dr. Derek. Okay, so yes, now we have Dr. Malik and we'll be doing this together. Now I've already played his bio. One of the things that fascinated me about Dr. Malik, so for Dr. Daring, she's a PhD holder. Yeah. Dr. Malik is a medical doctor. Yes, for those of us that went to science school, you know how nerdy doctors are. They will carry bag, do this, and all of that. And one of the other things that tripped me about Dr. Malik, guys, listen well. Dr. Malik started from Bauchi. If you don't know where Bauchi is in Nigeria, just go to the map. It's one obscure place like this. And from Bauchi, being a medical doctor, these are things that are against the normal status quo. Medical doctors don't do what it's doing, in quotes, and not people in Bauchi. You don't expect that.
That's true.
But it's broken the norm. Now, Dr. Malik, we want to hear your story from medical doctor to cashing out on YouTube. You caught us this evening. So why YouTube? And please tell us your story. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the story it's long. I really don't know where to start. I know I'm very sure you'll be guiding me along the way. And feel free to interrupt me anytime in case you need to guide me appropriately. So you can hear me, right?
Loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. So first, again, as she has earlier mentioned, I am a medical doctor, and I started out blogging. I started out just with the desire to reach out to people, to help people with health tips, right? And then, those times they told us that, no, you can't start stuff on health blogging. Try entertainment, try gossip, That's when Linda Ikeji started then. And people were saying, that's the thing. Nobody cares about health stuff now. But we pushed, right? We pushed. And before you knew it, some of the articles were just flying. I got invitations to speak. The company that owns Lacasera, even Indomie, just from the blog, right? And then I discovered that videos are powerful. Videos have the power to help me to communicate what I want to say easier, right? More easily and better. And so I started the YouTube channel to just to help people out, right? And interestingly, because of the value of the content there, it seemed that it got people's attention, and then the whole thing was just increasing the views, the subscribers. And immediately I started getting attention of organizations, both in Nigeria and international organizations. In fact, at the point, WHO, I got invited by WHO, even UNESCO, We did something with UNDP. So they started, and all I was using was my smartphone, right? So from then, it became clear to me that there is something here. And people started asking me, this content you made was amazing. Do you have any course? Do you have any class? Do you have any paid products? And I didn't have, because my goal was just to help people. My goal wasn't to cash out. And it became so much because of some of my friends who were internet marketers. Like, guy, create something. This is a market. So that's how I created my first, and I created my first lead magnets to get people's contact. I created my first product then. I was working with John BD, with the Mechanobeast, with Victor Bassi. They helped me promote my digital product. My first product was 3,000 naira. And, I woke up to alerts, and before, I had courses, consulting, and every other thing. And then, because I was in the medical field, I was health niche, and I started creating products, and the products were also doing well. Apart from the channel, digital marketing came in, right? People are like, how do you create these funnels? How do you create this email marketing, procedure? How do you create this landing page? How do you run these ads? And before the video marketing and digital marketing aspects now came in, right? And so it now became, even though the initial intent was to reach out to people, to help people, somehow, that's how value attracts, fortune. It attracts opportunities. And so a lot of travels, a lot of invitations, especially outside the country. Over 50% of my audience, my followers, are in the United States. And then we have about 30% from the Middle East and stuff. So a lot of opportunities outside the country, even from affiliates and different opportunities. So my reaching out to people just to help them out, right, now opened doors for me, to have contacts, to have different opportunities, and even the financial aspect, right? So presently, I do not practice fully. I no longer practice fully because, of course, I don't have the time any longer. And apart from that, I have better ways to reach people, or let me say parallel ways to reach people, rather than the conventional, permit me to say, failed health system, which is really frustrating, right? It's really frustrating. You're doing the surgeries, we do surgeries, and then the people come down with infections. It's so because the drugs are adulterated, or they don't have money to pay, and so it's really disheartening. But we are creating different ways, parallel ways of running the health system virtually, using digital media, using the internet, and conferencing and stuff like that. So I no longer practice fully, but again, I am doing what I want to do, reaching out to people, offering value, and again, content is very key to all that have done content creation, because what helped to open the doors for me is offering people value consistently by creating content, especially video content, right? This statement I just made might seem casual, but it's very powerful, right? Reaching out to people, offering them massive value consistently, right? Using content marketing, especially video content, right? And that is my major secret. Coupled with paid ads here and there. And I don't know if there's anything you want to ask to direct my story. I would really welcome that.
Wow, that is amazing. Guys, yeah. Please, I hope you caught that.
Yes.
Dr. Derry said it while she was presenting. Now, yeah. Dr. Malik is emphasizing it.
Yes.
When she was talking about that thing about who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? For her, she's an educationist.
Yes.
For Dr. Malik, he wants to help people by putting out content. He actually wants to educate. So you see that he actually ties. It ties. Every time you seek, and I think Dr. Derry equally mentioned that in our presentation, that the first thing is never money.
Yeah, no.
Every billionaire you see, the first thing is never money. if there's one thing you're going to take away from this webinar, it might take you a couple of years or time, as she said. You must be able to answer, who are you?
Exactly.
Because when you know who you are, then people will be able to refer you. That's the only time you'll be able to come in as top of mind for people. Now, you said something very interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people here will have that in their mind, that you have to move against the status quo.
Yes.
Because by nature, the human desire tends towards comfort, towards gossip, and all of that. And you designed your blog breaking status quo, developing content, and working on videos. I have a number of people that I know joined this, and they're struggling with content creation, keeping the audience. You told us that, which is amazing. Guys, that's what I'm repeating. Your location is not your problem. From Bauchi, 50% of his audience is in the US. So it doesn't matter where you are. When you have content, value, they will find you. People would look for you. People don't want to know where, because they want their problems to be solved. So please, can you guide us through how to create? Dr. Derry had to gloss over that because she was rushing. How do you, in this your SDG, how do you identify your niche, create the content that keeps your niche following you?
Exactly. So first, you don't even start with yourself. You start with your audience, right? You start by listening to the audience. What exactly do they need? What is the problem? What is the solution they are desperately in need of? Right? I know it varies depending, because we have mixed multitude here, right? So it varies, right? So you have to listen very carefully, because we are creatives and then we tend to overestimate our vision and what we have sometimes. Now, that in itself can be a problem when it comes to marketing, because you have to listen very carefully. You have to listen to what the problems are. What are the solutions they are seeking? What are the roadblocks? And you create content around this, right? Automatically it becomes valuable, because if something keeps people awake at night, they become restless, they seek for solutions in prayer houses and stuff. That alone is something that will be seen as valuable if you provide solutions, right? So you create content around problems, around roadblocks, around systems that will lead them to the solutions, around the different kinds of solutions. You know, when I started out, both for the blogging and my YouTube channel, I never sit down and say, what will I create now? No, I was listening to questions people ask me in my inbox, right? I was listening to questions people ask. I go to Naira Land and look out for the questions people are asking. When I go on social media, I'm looking with a different lens, right? Pair of lenses. So to be sure that I am feeling the pulse of my audience, what exactly they're asking. And I'll create content, especially with well-researched content that are up to date, that are like cutting edge, so that you will not sound lame. Because again, when you sound lame like everybody, you know, you'll be easily ignored because there's noise everywhere. So when you say, okay, how to reduce your blood pressure, and then you say, okay, exercise, food, everybody knows that, right? It's lame. But when you start telling us about, okay, caloric restriction, about, this, different kind of things, maybe intermittent fasting and stuff. Now people will listen, because we're talking about cutting edge information, right? So again, the first thing is listen very carefully to the market. If you have any free product or paid product you want to bring out, don't just listen to yourself. I know, of course, as an expert, or a thought leader in that sphere, you have ideas. There are certain things I wanted to make, but I couldn't make them. I never created those contents, because I eventually discovered those are not what people are looking out for. So again, when it comes to content, the goal, the pillar is to listen out to what people are asking for, listen to their problems, the roadblocks, the solutions they need, and create your content around them, especially with the most recent, well-researched content so that you stand out. I'm emphasizing this because if you just go watch another YouTube video and create your own content, well, you'll be ignored, right? Because it's everywhere. Information is not just cheap now; it's almost free, right? So you have to come with cutting edge information that is valuable. I tell my students, if your content is not strongly educating, strongly entertaining, just forget about it, right? Because you'll be lost. So even if you're a comedian or a musician, you must be strongly entertaining. If you are in the educational space, you must be strongly educated. Again, there are other technical aspects that you will need, like communication skills. There's some skills you have to gain, like ability to communicate what you have in mind or what you want to share. Because again, some persons, you can't afford to be boring. You can't afford to be boring when you're online, right? Because you are competing with TikToks and Reels, and those things are not boring. So when you are talking about technical stuff, maybe you want to talk about, you want to talk about how to measure the BMI and stuff like that, and you're beginning to sound boring. You have to learn the skills of, resetting people's attention span frequently, and then be able to communicate your ideas in edutaining ways. You're educating and you're also entertaining, right? So if you some of these pillars, if you take care of them, your content will definitely be intriguing and be valuable. And then it sure will fly. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
I can see Elizabeth saying a different aspect on a solution to problems that is already out there. Yes, because as you rightly said, in this dispensation, if you're not careful, it looks as if everybody has said it all.
Yes.
What do I have to say? And that's why I really love what's the perspective Elizabeth put in there. That's it. Yeah. Just bring in a different aspect. There is something you can do. There's something that is uniquely you. It's when you try to imitate and copy somebody else, that is when you run into problems. Now, Dr. Adering spoke to us very eloquently about LinkedIn.
Yes.
You are the evangelist of YouTube.
Yes.
So why YouTube? What are the advantages? What's the benefit?
Okay.
Why do I need to be on this YouTube?
Yes, I say it, and people, and then you're quite biased. People will think because you're the YouTube guy and stuff. No, I believe everybody should be on YouTube. Now, the reason is, first, videos are powerful. Videos are very powerful if you want to create your authority. And again, before I even come there, I want to mention that when it comes to videos, YouTube is like the primary, or let's say the number one video platform, right? So videos are powerful if you want to create authority, if you want to create believability, you want to pass your message with clarity, you need to use videos. So whether you are an NGO or you are a business person or you are a preacher, or it doesn't matter. You have to be there because, first, this is the platform that is meant for the strongest medium of communication as it is now. Of course, maybe for other, things like augmented reality and all those things. But for now, videos are that powerful, and YouTube is there. And again, YouTube is different from other social media platforms in the sense that YouTube organizes your platform just like a website where things are not lost with time, right? Because if you post something on Instagram or Facebook, it's a matter of time, right? It just disappears. It gets pushed down because of the configuration. However, YouTube is vertically, right? Horizontally, right? YouTube is horizontally, meaning that things can just always be there. You can create things into playlists, into like folders, and they're not lost. And the way it's created just like a website, when people land there, you can quickly project yourself as an authority because you have the banner, you have the about page description, you have all the folders that can be, created into the different segments or categories of your industry, right? And then you have the different segments there, community posts, just like other social media platforms. So again, it is one of the strongest, it's different from other social media platforms because of the way it is, configured. And it is owned by Google, the greatest search engine. And when you need something serious in life, you go to Google to search. And if you have a well-optimized YouTube channel, it will show up when people search for Google. So whether you are an NGO or you are for-profit, if you have well-optimized YouTube channel, you are increasing, you can imagine there's what we call search traffic. So when people search for something, how to make this, how to do this, how to get opportunity, how to write your CV, how to attend an interview, and you have well-optimized videos, and they're searching on Google, which is the primary search engine, you show up. This is good for visibility. This is good for business, for sales, right? And so I agree, if you want to be on LinkedIn, of course, for the professional space and every other thing, you can be on any platform, but you must be on YouTube. Of course, again, I'm the evangelist for YouTube. I'm so passionate about YouTube, as you can sense. And this is because of how the freedom and the opportunity it has given to me and thousands of my students, right? And I see this in every day. I see this. You can see a struggling business come to me, and we just set up a YouTube channel, and then we set up content schedule, content calendar, and then before you know, things take off. Even as complex as a real estate company, things take off, right? So YouTube is that powerful. I would advise everybody to set up a YouTube channel and start creating videos. You might get things wrong, and then you might struggle because YouTube is an organic platform. Things move slowly. But if you are consistent, there will be a turning point. There will be a tipping point where things just take off, right? And then, so I guess with these few words of mine, you are convinced to, to set up a YouTube channel, right? Yes. And again, every opportunity I've gotten internationally, every opportunity came from YouTube, right? So even WHO, they just check my YouTube channel, and then they invited me, right, to Turkey and to Canada, right, for an all expense paid. So it's even if in the professional space, right, in the professional space, we know that YouTube is first a serious platform. It might not be as serious as LinkedIn, right? Again,
but next this time so doable afford Abi. I'm looking at him. I'm just waiting for him.
So it might not be as serious as LinkedIn, but it's still a formal space where serious things can be done. Of course, of course, it's not as playful as TikTok and other platform, but then it's formal enough for you to create something serious that professionals, right, will regard you as somebody they want to work with. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
As in, yes. you guys are just, as I like to say, you guys are scattering my dada.
Yes.
Community people, you're hearing this. Village people, country people, all of you, you're hearing this. We heard Dr. Aderinsola say that she's attracted so much global opportunities, all expenses paid via LinkedIn. You're really? Hearing Dr. Malik say he's attracted global opportunities, all expenses paid via YouTube. My brothers and sisters in the Lord, what are you attracting? As in, food for thought. No, I mean, WHO, that's not a joke. No, it is not. Yes. And what this is emphasizing to us, we say these things, and I'm just bringing it home. These are real people, real stories. Go check their profile. They don't have time to be scamming you. This are truths. There is money to be gotten. Yes, there's money to be gotten. There's money to be made, but you have to be valuable. People have to understand that I am spending my money on you for this reason. So that means that those global bodies are constantly looking for where to invest their money. The reason why they have not called you is because you've not convinced them. You are not and
limiting beliefs. Sorry to cut you short. And limiting beliefs, because sometimes it is just here in your head, right? Because if there's anyone that had barriers, right, I think I am the one, right? Because of my location, right? And several other things maybe I'm not permitted to say here, but there are several limitations. But that stubbornness in me and that ability to say, Kai, because if you check my wall here, I wrote, no excuse is valid. No excuse is valid. All of my students know that, right? If I am my coaching students, they know that I don't take excuses. I just told her now that if my network messes up, I'm going to take my phone, get into my car outside, and we'll continue this because I don't, no excuse is valid. Some persons will say, hey, where I was operating all these things, all these opportunities. I just moved to Abuja like 1 year ago, right? All my life has been there. And the network is so poor, 2G network. I know because you were in Obidi's event when I even mentioned this then, the network is poor, different things that will hold on to that because I'm a practicing medical doctor. Some things are illegal to start mentioning. Marketing yourself is illegal, different kind. I think there are different things. In fact, for my YouTube channel, just because of the limitations that my students place on themselves, my YouTube channel as Dr. Malik channel, I wrote it publicly that I will not buy or use any professional equipment until I achieve 100,000 subscribers. So all I was using all along was just my smartphone. Why did I do that? Because of course I'm a medical doctor. I have the ability. I could buy all the gadgets. I could. But I deliberately did that so that my students will have no excuse. Hey, my problem, my videos are not flying is because the quality is not there. No. Because that excuse will not fly because I would just say, look at my award there. Do you understand? That's 100,000. And I used my smartphone, right? So again, your beliefs, because there's this spirit of average that want to keep everybody on the same level. When you try to, just come out, then it brings what I call valid reasons, like legitimate reasons. Like I'm a mother of 2, I'm a mother of 3. I live in Lagos, the traffic, and this is Nigeria, the kind of government we have, So again, I just feel that I should mention this because that's one of the things that have helped me is I don't allow for excuses. I don't allow for limiting beliefs. Again, let me quickly mention this pillar that just came to my mind that I feel is one of the things that have helped me is networking, right? Network. One of the first things I created immediately I got online is a network of friends. Like, some of them, some of the top guys, like the Tonyo Motoshon, the Akela Alabi, the Paul Fole, the John Obidi, the Mekanobis. Like, even then, when we're using BBM, close contact, there is nothing I need now. Right? I just a call away. In fact, this interview was just a call away from Paul Fole. That's the power of networking, right? That's the power. So if there's anything, right, you should invest in, you should pay to get access. You should pay to get access. There's some courses I buy. It's not because I don't know some of them. I know more than them when it comes to YouTube and marketing.
Your network was bad. I'm sure Dr. Derry is laughing because you're repeating exact same thing she just said.
Okay.
Go on.
I couldn't listen. So I pay for courses, not because I don't know what is in those courses, but for access. Right? For access. So you pay. I pay for access. I serve for access. I pay for access. I serve for access. So people let's say, for example, let's me use anybody like for a mechanobis. What I did was because I also learned I have some technical skills. I design websites. So I met a mechanobis then. I want to serve for access. He's been there. He's already a public speaker. I said, mechanobis, please, I will design your entire website for you for free. Like
Tell
just
them.
for me to just thank you. Just thank you for helping us. So the most I had to use the most expensive WordPress theme then. It was like 50,000 naira then. It was most expensive. I drove like 1 hour because the network was poor, set up the channel. I used an entire blog for him, and that is all. Emeka Nobis now can swear by anything. Right? Even John Obidi, John Obidi there had some little issue, health issue. His father was there. I was there, always there when his father was alive, always there serving for access. Please, I'm telling you, all I am today is not just the skills. Of course, you have to get some skills, you have to get knowledge, but pay for access, serve for access. It will save you. I'm telling you to save you. There was sorry, just the last example. There's a billionaire in Lagos I wanted to have access to in the real estate space. I couldn't. I just called Pofo. I said, Pofo. I just called. He said, hey, you know how he talk, like, hey, don't worry. What did he said? There's a word you just forget about. Just one call. Immediately, it was the man himself that contacted me. He said, Pofo told me he needed it. Can you just make it? And I just flew to Lagos immediately, right? So there is power in networking. In networking, I have masterminds. In fact, I just left the meeting now. Business masterminds. So please, I wanted to just mention that because it's not in my notes here. In case I forget, networking is very, very important.
Wow. Our 30 minutes is over and the thing is getting juicy. This is becoming like village meeting. And I didn't know that would go this way. Okay. And since he has driven me to share, because it will now be unfair for me not to share this. Okay. Because believe me, everybody listening to us, both the people on Facebook, if you'd listen to the replay of this, you are where you are because of the people you know.
True.
QED. QED. If you have to pay, that's why I was laughing when he said it, because some of us, we are too stingy for our growth. They will tell you, come and pay for this course. No, it is too expensive. No, it is, you want everything to come to you free. No problem. I'm looking at you on 3D. I have been chasing Dr. Malik. He was laughing. I've chased Dr. Malik more than a man chases a woman. 2 years. I will DM him. I DM'd him on all his social media platforms. I will screenshot him. He didn't move. No response, no flinch, nothing. But I didn't take offense now because I know it's very busy and all of that. I said, it's okay. One day my day will come. I kept on looking at his works. I was inspired. I kept on checking it and everything. And I'm in Pofo circle. So I was not just with Pofo this day. And we're now talking. So I'm not like, Pofo, there's this medical doctor that is doing amazing things. And I've been chasing him, but now I'll get to me. Say, which medical doctor? I said, Dr. Malik. He said, Dr. Malik. Hold on. Let him call me now. And right now, we have Dr. Malik on this platform. It was that simple.
Yes.
That 2 years. I was just in gist with Paul. I'm like, follow. There's this Dr. Malik. I don't know by now. Get him. I'm doing all the strategies. Which strategy? He's Malik now. I will call him now. Malik, somebody will call you. I'm giving you a number.
Yes.
And access.
Yes.
That's simple. I don't care who you are trying to reach. The reason why you've not been able to reach that person is you're in the wrong circle. QED.
Yes.
We are pushing for time. One last thing that I just want you to tell us about. I have been seeing some serious money on this YouTube matter. In fact, I saw a pastor that they say is making, is it 3 billion? Is it 3 million monthly on YouTube? Please, can you just quickly tell us how you people are making this money? Thank you.
Okay, when it comes to YouTube, there are different monetization models, right? So you can YouTube as a platform can run ads on your content. So you made your video, maybe how to write an amazing CV. You just made your video. YouTube can run ads on your video. You know those ads you see and they say skip in 5 seconds, stuff like that. Those ads are paid for, right? So when you are monetized, right, by AdSense monetization, and you have videos on YouTube, and YouTube run ads on your videos, you get paid for those ads. So when you want to watch a video and you see an ad, the owner of that video gets paid for that ad running. So that is one of the models of monetization of money. And since I started YouTube, I get checks. I get checks every month, every single month. Like it just comes in like that, right? So that's one of the models. The other models where you make money by selling your own stuff, and again, it's very easy to sell with videos. And imagine we are doing this program now with just audio. It will be powerful, but it will not be as powerful as, if it's visual. So if you have something to sell and you're using videos and you're using YouTube and you optimize it for search, when people search for this stuff, how to make your hair, how to buy and the best iPhone to buy, and you have your videos there, and then you can sell under the in the description section. So there are about 7 models, but because of time. But what most people talk about, and one of the easiest ways to make money on YouTube, it may not be easy that way, or let me say one of the commonest ways, right, is to make money from ads that run on your stuff. So when you have like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, you'll be eligible, and then you start making money, right, from your ads. I guess that's all I can say for now before it gets too technical for our brains. But then again, as I started, the goal is not to just look at money and say, how can I make money from this? I don't think the pastor that they're talking about went out and say, hey, how can I make money on YouTube? How can I? No. He went out to give value, right? Money follows value, right? Money always. In fact, you cannot. Let me just stop there before I start preaching. All right.
Amazing. Thank you so very much. For the sake of our time, I will be playing the profile of the next speaker.
All right, great.
Titilola Shawana, and we'll be having her next. I'm sure, please, can I feel your vibe in the chat room? I'm sure this is hot. Amazing, too much value. Like I'm writing and writing. You know me, I don't carry last now. Hey, you should watch out for me. Let me play Titi's profile. Then.
Titilola Shawana is an HR expert with over 10 years of experience in human resources and people management. She is the executive director of human resources at Oluti Engineering, a family-owned industrial waste management company, which helps develop efficient processes and systems for higher levels of productivity. She is a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University with a bachelor's degree in sociology and anthropology. She also has an MBA from Hult International Business School, Boston, Massachusetts. An author of the book Remote Work and Productivity, she's a wife and the mother of 2 boys.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on this platform, can we welcome Titilola Shawana Onemika? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Titi.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you so much for this opportunity. In short, I almost forgot that I'm one of the speakers. I had written down a lot of things, like I have learned so much from Dr. Aderinsola. I've learned so much from Dr. Malik. I was telling Kike the other day that I know Dr. Malik, but he doesn't know how I know him, but we'll see. Okay, so today I'll be talking about equipping yourself for global relevance. I know that Dr. Aderinsola has said so much. I know that Dr. Malik has also said so much. And being an HR practitioner, most times we meet with people from various field of life. We deal with people in different fields. So I would say I'm taking the route to see how we can, embroaden how we can equip ourselves to become relevant globally. We know generally that people usually, an average person will usually, really just settle for making enough money to pay the bills, take care of their families, And most times they usually like pursue personal comfort. So when it comes to the conversations around global relevance, it's not really something that, occurs to such average people naturally. It's not something you just wake up one morning and you're like, you know what, I want to be globally relevant. It takes events like this, seminars, webinars, and like we know all of our speakers, they've been talking pay for access, set for access. Before you can do any of that, you have to first tell yourself that, you know what, this thing, this global relevance that we're talking about, I want it. I want to be impactful globally, not just locally, globally. So you have to talk about coming to seminars like this. And it's when you come for seminars like this that you come to the realization that I have gifts that God has bestowed with me. I have my talents. I have some solution blueprints that, I can put together, and it will not just be valuable for just myself and my household, but it will be valuable for the people around me, for my community, for my country, and also for across the globe, So we know the popular saying that says that a tree doesn't consume its own fruit. Is meant for others. What does that mean? You see yourself as, in like manner, see yourself as a tree. You have those values. Look at Dr. Malik, look at Dr. Aderinsola. Imagine them keeping these values to themselves and not sharing it with us. Then we will not even gain so much. We will not hear all these things that they've told us about today. But because they know that they have a lot of value and they have a lot of things that they want to like share with the world, they've put themselves out there and they're here and they've shared these values with us. And right now we are beginning to take notes and seeing how we can apply these things to our lives. So that's why I said that a tree doesn't consume its own fruit. Same also, we as people, we don't just take everything we have and then just use it for ourselves. We have to start thinking about how those values, how those solutions, those ideas that we have, how they can become globally relevant. And then you begin to make intentional steps on how you can develop the value, how you can build a global brand, or how you can package the solution that will be appealing and acceptable across the globe. We have a lot of examples in Nigeria. Like, for example, if you're someone who makes music, you are thinking about how you can upload your music on YouTube, and somebody in India or in China or in America will begin to listen to your music and it appeals to them. If you understand what I'm talking about, because right now we live in a world that's interconnected. We live in a world that is global. Like they usually say, from your smartphone, you can reach out to almost anybody if you have the right access and the right network. Gone are the days when we go through the mail system or when we go through you have to send a letter before. Right now, from your mobile phone, you can achieve a lot of things. Going back to Dr. Malik's story, he said he started with what? Just his cell phone, and he was able to build a YouTube brand. So it's the same thing. We are now living in a world where all of these things are readily available to us. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Well, I've been talking about global relevance. I remember when I uploaded it on my WhatsApp status, and I got a few calls. Somebody called me. I was like, "Lola, what's this global relevance all about?" I said, "Well, if you don't want to know what it's about, then you have to tune in. You have to tune in and listen to what all the speakers are going to say concerning it, because like I said earlier, it's not something every average person just, wake up to and say, I want to be globally relevant. It's something that, and I'm sure that most of us that are here, we're here because I believe we all have something in us. It's either you're a writer, you know how to write very well, or you're a speaker, you know how to speak, or you have a solution that will help either in the tech space or in the climate space, or in different spheres of life. There are so many ideas that you can have and put together And today we'll be talking about how we can develop these ideas and how we can equip ourselves to become relevant globally. So in my notes, I wrote that global relevance refers to the significance, the importance, and the interconnectedness of events, issues, and phenomena on a global scale. You know, what's that saying? It's really, really simple. For example, let's think back to 2020 when the pandemic hit. They all told us to stay back at home. There was a lockdown. And at that point, the world had a global problem. You know, everybody was trying to look for how to solve this problem. You know, there were problems on different levels, but I want to talk about the interconnectedness now. And a company like Zoom came forth. Zoom had been around for a while, but at that point, it became very relevant globally because I remember then that I also had a baby during the lockdown. And I remember doing my baby's christening through Zoom, where people from all over the country, all over the world had to like tune in, and then we were able to do the baby christening. I also just had a baby recently too, and we still used Zoom just last month to be precise. So what am I saying? Zoom came on board, and with Zoom, everybody is able to connect. I'm sure right now, even those our grandmas that don't even know how to even operate their phones, they know what Zoom is, because I'm sure at least they've attended a baby christening. That's just to tell you how when the whole world is gravitating, or when there's a problem that the world is grappling with, and you are able to like provide or provide a solution, then with such solutions being provided, such person begins to get the global attention. And that was what happened with Zoom, because people started looking for ways to connect, people started looking for ways to interact. Offices were locked down, offices were looking for ways on how they could now begin to go about the business of the day without them losing a lot of money. And Zoom was like the very interesting platform. And I knew then there were other apps that came out also, but Zoom was like the very prominent, and it still is today. And even right now on this webinar, that's what we're using Zoom. So that's like one of the very literal and easy way to, you know, not easy, it's not really easy, but one of the ways to, you know, gain global relevance. And from this, we'll be talking about how we can position ourselves for global relevance. So for example, if you're someone, like I said earlier on, if you're somebody that is like, you know what, I am not just an ordinary person, I have something to offer. And the truth is, each and every one of us, we have something to offer. There's nothing too small, there's nothing too minimal. Sometimes those things, those ideas that you also just feel like, oh, nobody needs this. You'll be amazed that with the right packaging, with the right publicity, with the right marketing, you will be shocked and be amazed on how such ideas will be so valuable to a set of people, and you will really, really be amazed on how such ideas would fly and become like a brand and represent you. You know, like if you're talking about creating legacy, if you're talking about having something other than just taking care of your immediate need. You know, we've been talking about value. Value can never be overestimated, because in value ideation, it's just so important to be able to position yourself right. And right now, we'll just be talking about some of the ways in which you can position yourself for global relevance. And with that, when I was preparing for this topic, I was like, the best way to address this would be talking about the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. You know, Dr. Aderinsola, actually, she mentioned it earlier on. You know, like she said, I'm just going to like reiterate it, like, you know, over 196 countries came together and they said, you know what, these are the problems that we are facing in the world. And then they turned it to something we now call Sustainable Development Goals. just go on your phone. Like generally speaking, what do we even think are those things that the world needs right now? What are those needs that we know that is going on? There are various of them, but these people have been able to classify it to 17 goals. And I just to mention a few, we know something like no poverty, zero hunger, quality education, zero equality, gender equality. There are so many of them. And if you're somebody that is thinking about working on the global scale, I think a website that wants to be one of your best websites, or a website that you want to bookmark, would be a website for these sustainable goals. Because if you are able to plug in your value or that solution blueprint that you have, if you are able to plug it into one of these goals, then you begin to get the right attention. Just like we were saying earlier on, because your ability to be able to be clear about what you have and your ability to be able to plug it to a global problem of you providing a solution, then you begin to get to a pathway to global relevance, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Because the truth is, if you're only concerned about what is happening around you alone, then it's only what is around you. That's only where you'll be relevant. But if you are particular about what is happening globally, then you can begin to talk about being globally relevant. So that's why, if we remember during the lockdown, also during the pandemic, when we had the lockdown, one of the major problems was in the public health, which is also one of the sustainable goals, is the public health. And everybody was very concerned about their health. Everybody wanted to wear a mask, wash their hands, and the whole world was trying to get a solution to this problem. At the end of the day, there were two companies that came up with a vaccine, which was Pfizer and Moderna. And I believe that these two companies became like household names because they were able to come up with a vaccine that everybody was able to just. I know there are others like Johnson & Johnson, but I know where I'm based, it's like these two companies were like the very prominent ones. So what am I trying to say? That sometimes like what happened in this situation is that they were able to solve a global need, which was the fact that there was a lockdown and we needed a vaccine before people can begin to think of coming out again. So their ability to solve that problem gave them the global attention. Everybody was talking about Pfizer. Everybody was talking about Moderna. Everybody was talking about vaccine. So that's what I'm trying to say, that your pathway or a road to global relevance is thinking about what the world is going through right now. Now let's move to another category. Let's talk about the innovation space. And this one, I'll be talking to the people in technology. Right now, what are we talking about in the tech space? We are talking about AI. What is AI doing today? Making works very fast. I have one of my clients that is a cybersecurity specialist, and he said he has never seen how easy it is to use AI to get his job done. He's someone that writes a lot of policies, writes a lot of white paper and all that to bring solutions to his company. He said, but right now he uses ChatGPT most of the time. And he just tells ChatGPT, you know what, write me a policy on so and so. And in less than 3 seconds, he has gotten the answers to his problem. Now, if you are somebody in the tech space, what is that thing that you think you can do? Like I said earlier on, like there are so many artificial intelligence apps or tools that are out there right now. We have Jasper, we have Johnny. I'm sure if you're somebody that is into making YouTube videos, if you just go on YouTube and you type AI tools to help me create a video, I'm sure a long list of them will just pop up. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're somebody in the tech space and you're talking about global relevance, you want to begin to look into it and begin to see, okay, oh, this is an app, this is what it does, these are the deficiency. How can I come in? How can I solve this problem? Because at the end of the day, that's how we get new problems every day. Something would already be existing, and then all you have to do is to look at everything that exists, most of the things that is existing, and begin to find the gap. Your ability to be able to fill out those gaps would help you to be able to produce something or make something that will become valuable. And the reason why I'm talking about this on a global scale is because if you're able to solve one of the major problems that we're having with AI right now, because I'm in HR, and I think one of the major problems most of my clients are talking about is that, especially the workers, they're saying, is it that AI is now going to take our jobs? So as a tech person, you want to now begin to look at how you can make it in a way that they can work seamlessly. Though we're still in those discussions, we're still talking about it that no, AI is not taking our jobs, but of course, it's still a discussion at hand. So as a person, if you're thinking about getting globally recognized, one of the good ways is to look at what the trend is right now in the tech space, what is happening right now in the public health space. Cancer is a big thing, is a big issue right now. There are lots of researches going on, but just for a moment, think about the person that will bring about the solution to cancer. What do you think is going to happen to such a person? He's going to be everywhere, every TV media, everybody will want to talk to that person. So this is not just limited to public health and tech. There's also climate action. We're talking about deforestation. We're talking about climate change. There are different things going on in all of these sectors. So what I'm talking about today is whoever you are, wherever you are, there's something in you that the world is waiting for you to show forth so that they can see it. And the best way you can show forth such is to plug it into what the world is talking about on a global scale. So in other words, if you're someone that wants to provide a value, you want to think about, okay, how can this product or service, how can it be utilized by people of different cultures, people of different backgrounds, people of different languages? If you're in the knowledge space, like I'm an author, I just wrote a book going back to global relevance. So during back to the pandemic, I'm really using this because this is like one of the pivotal moments in the history of our lives right now. And one of the things that occurred was that a lot of jobs were now done remotely. A lot of jobs were done remotely. And even after the vaccines have been rolled out and even employers are telling employees to come back to work, a lot of them are saying no, they don't want to, that they still feel like it's still the same amount of job that can be done either if they're in the office or they're at home. So I began to study what was going on, especially among small businesses. And I realized that it was a big thing for them because they felt like they didn't have enough skill or they didn't have the technology to be able to adapt with remote working. So I wrote a book on that. And I began to tell them, hey, I read a book on, and when I wrote the book, I wrote it on both the employer's angle and the employee's angle. So if you're an employee and you're thinking of working remotely and your boss is saying, no, I don't want you to work remotely, I want you to come in. I wrote a book on how you can have those conversations, how you can even be the one to educate your boss, how you will be the one to set the goals. I say, you know what? These are the goals. These are what I want to do. I want to be able to work from home, how you can negotiate it. So that's talking about global relevance. I knew that a lot of people were talking about remote working. So I wrote a book on that. I think I just published it. It's not quite long, but it's still in the works. So as I was saying, so most times when you are thinking of, becoming globally relevant, you also want to begin to think about global problems. Now, what are some of those skills that can help us navigate through this course? one of the major skills is collaboration. And I think this is where I'm going to talk the most about, because with collaboration, it enables collective thinking, it enables shared knowledge, it also enables problem solving. Now, on a global scale, what am I trying to say with all of this? When you collaborate on a project, it simply means you are working with other set of people. Now, collaboration is a skill that so many employers are looking for, because they know that if you are good on collaborating, if you are good with working on a team, because right now everybody is talking about teamwork is a big thing right now in the HR space. So if you're somebody that is very good in collaboration, it will help you a lot. And how can you even cultivate this? It's through majority of the things that has been mentioned here: networking, volunteering, internship. Now, if you're talking about making global impact, or if you're talking about becoming globally relevant, you can't just sit at home, or you can't just tell yourself, you know what, I'm very good with this, and that's just it, and you don't make any moves to help you. Now, one of the basic or major thing to do would be to begin to network. Like, I'm here right now, I'm speaking on this platform, I'm speaking on the same platform with Dr. Malik and Dr. Aderinsola. It was through networking. It was through networking I got in contact with Tumininu. It was through networking I got in contact with Kike. So these are like basic skills that you just want to learn how to cultivate. Because the truth is, if you don't put yourself out there, nobody will put you out there. Like a marketer would always say, you are the number one marketer of yourself. Nobody can market you better than the way you will market yourself. So in the process of networking, a good way you can go about networking is by volunteering. How often do you know about community projects that are going on? There are some of us, we don't even know about anything that's happening in our community. We don't even know anything happening in our neighborhood, not to even talk about on a global scale. So if you want to talk about global, you first start from where you are at. You start from where you are at. And the good thing is, right now, we are in a world where from your phone, you can basically reach out to anybody. And another good way would be to create platforms. Like this is a very beautiful platform that we are on right now, the Read platform. A very, very beautiful platform. If not for this platform, there are so many things that we have had today that we will not know about them. So your ability to say, you know what, oh, I know one of the speakers, or I know Tumininu, you know what, I'm going to support her cause, I'm going to tune in and I'm going to listen, and it is free. And you're here and you're listening to all these nuggets, you're listening to all these insights, you're listening to all these issues that they are talking about. At the end of the day, it will help us. It will help us. And lastly, I'm going to talk about, in the process of talking about creating platform, I'm going to tie it into publishing. Now, I'm just going to mention a few things about, for example, if you're a writer, if you're somebody that writes, if you're in the knowledge space, it would be really good to invest so much on writing, because to invest so much on publishing, because the truth is, like I said earlier on, if you have any idea or if you have anything that you want to put out there, it has to start from you. So your ability to say, you know what, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to post on my profile pages on the various platforms that you're on. I'm going to speak to people I'm going to attend programs. Your attending programs would open the doors to the people that also attend. Like I'm here right now. I'm sure if I need to speak with Dr. Aderinsola in the future, which I think the future is like maybe tomorrow, I'm sure I know who to talk to get me to her. Also, Dr. Malik. I don't know if you know. So attending, so that's simply what we're talking about. So I'm going to conclude this session by saying that the whole of this session that we've had today, like from the first speaker to myself, is that this is simply a call to each and every one of us on this program. It is a call to each and every one of us. Now, it is a call for each of us to become a global citizen. It is a call for each and every one of us to become a global citizen. And the concept of global relevance in total starts as a call to action. So these are not just things for you to, oh, I heard what they talk about and that's it. No, these are things you want to work on. These are things you want to engage on. You want to speak to the right coaches. You want to speak to the mentors that would help you. You want to pay for platforms. You want to speak to people. And I'm sure that if you begin to apply some of all these principles, it would help you in becoming globally relevant. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. It's Saturday evening. I was looking at the time. I didn't want to interrupt. That was amazing. As I said, I've been writing. Several things stood out for me. One key thing is positioning yourself for value. So it's not, and there's this quote from a book I read very often, and I'm sure a number of people on this platform reads it. That's it. You don't light a candle and you put it under the bed. Once she was speaking, your problem might not be that you are not valuable. Your problem is where you are located. And that's why we're talking about global relevance. You have to be, and she says you have to be the one to market yourself. Now you go sell yourself. This is your light. You are the one that's going to shine it. Nobody is going to do you for you. I'm sure there are lots of take-homes there, and we can only take maybe one or two questions. There's already a question. For me, Dr. Derry spoke eloquently about LinkedIn. Dr. Malik is a no-brainer. YouTube. Titilola scattered the table. AI. If you're doing anything in this dispensation and you are not using AI, quote me, I'm not bending them out to say it, you are about to go into oblivion. If you see what AI is doing, and you know, as she was saying it, I was smiling. The bush woman that I am, you know, there's this thing that if you are working, when you spend hours at work, you feel like, yay, I've worked. The first time I tried to use ChatGPT to develop some content, in my head, I'm like, this is too easy now. Is it?
Exactly.
Like, did I use my brain? And that really got me thinking that if you do not, I'm not joking. There is, okay, no, let me say at least 80% of my weekday, I use ChatGPT every day to check, because you just have to do that to be relevant. It's Saturday evening. I don't want to take our time. Please, if you have questions, you can raise your hand. But there's a question from Titilola to Dr. Derry, and the question is interesting. Dr. Derry, she says, you mentioned briefly on global opportunities that for even people who are already advanced in age, and you people are not being fair. When I start hearing this 35 thing, it's okay. Today is not the discussion for age. Because how we got to this benchmark of 35, I don't know. But I say for people who are already advanced in age, if you are not ready to go take physical appointments, that's field work abroad, yet not an expert in ICT, but you have wealth of experience in your own field, like over 20 years experience in banking and mortgage finance, can such a person still have international job working from home?
Thank you. And I started working with UN Live last year. I'm sitting in Lagos currently. This is my home office. So it means that Definitely, like we are in the same boat. Let me put it that way. So here is what I say. Like I said, I had to change strategy because I always say something, what gets you here cannot get you there. It depends, like what got me the global opportunities could not keep pushing me because I had restrictions of age, right? And that is why I had to switch my plan to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is that platform that it has no limitation. And I'll tell you, like there is a client that worked with me last month on our LinkedIn program. Dr. Charles is a PhD holder. He has 32 years experience in drilling. 32 years, that man, like definitely can be my father. What am I even talking about? Do you understand? Like he can be my father. 32 years, like I'm still like under 40. So like he can bomb me standard. But then he came to work with me, right? That means he realizes that, okay, this is my wealth of experience. I want to be able to probably render consultancy for this thing. And he didn't know how to go about this LinkedIn thing. And you said something about tech. LinkedIn is not tech. LinkedIn is just a social platform, only that it's for professionals, serious people, right? So it means that all you need to, if you can navigate Facebook, you can navigate, just give me a minute. I think I have, I'm dropping a chat in this thing. There's a free 1 hour LinkedIn training I just dropped in the chat. If you can navigate Facebook, you can navigate LinkedIn. The problem I see is people do not understand how to, they do not understand the importance of LinkedIn. And I'll put a caveat, because of where you are, your industry, banking and this thing, I always tell people, even if this seems harsh, but I tell people on my program that if all you've done in your life is a bank work, it's very hard to use it to get a remote work internationally. Why? Most of the people that work in the bank abroad is like lower cadre work, let me put it that way. Like when you walk into the bank, like when I was in the UK doing my research, for instance, you just walk into the bank and you see, how do I put it, like admin work, let me put it that way. It's just because most of their things are digitalized. Banking is digitalized, so it's just floor members, let me put it that way. So they don't really have a need for 20 years banking experience kind of this thing. So it means that many people they cannot transfer that knowledge in the banking industry. But then I worked with a client last year that, of course, as I work with so many people not so many people one-on-one. I work with people through my course. I work with very few people, like one-on-one. Most of the time, always like very top executives like that. And this person is an AGM at the bank. And when she came to me, I told her at the same time, I said, Madam, this thing, what we can do for you right now is, what have you done inside the bank? Good for her. She had done product development. My free advice to you is, please move away. Anybody that is here, move away from conventional titles to imagine job roles. So I don't know what you've done in the bank. I don't know, do you understand? But I'm going to give you based on this advice I gave to that client. She had drawn product innovation. She was in charge of product management of different, all these people bang out, they want to create something product today for maybe multinational, not like banks. Okay, let's put maybe a bank that is into corporate now. Maybe a bank that is in charge of corporate, they will most likely be creating new features on their app that favors corporate organization. That is a product. They call it product. So if you are that person that in the bank, you are lucky to have done work that is very creative, because there are some work that does not require brain at all. If you've done creative work, please don't position yourself as a banker, because it won't fly internationally. So what you're now going to do, what I advise you for my program is, what skill sets do you have from that work that you've done? That work that has a 20th century title, banker, lawyer, all those things. What work do you have? The skill set you built in doing that work, right? Go to LinkedIn, go and find titles of emerging jobs. You start finding things like product manager. My role at UNLive is what? Program coordinator. But my job description as I'm heading for local facilitators, I'll be facilitating the training of local facilitators, I'll be coordinating this thing. I should not be telling myself that the only experience I have is teacher work in University of Lagos, right? Will I apply for global coordinator? No. But please look beyond the title of the job. Look at the skill set that is required on those emerging jobs. Whatever it is they call it, one of the first things I preach, if you watch a LinkedIn training, I always say, the first thing I preach is, please, your titles mean nothing. It means nothing. Like, I don't care. Like, your titles, job titles, I mean this, I mean that, like, please, forget it. Take the skill set in that job, go and find jobs that it matches with internationally on LinkedIn, that it matches with. Then you now look for that job. Okay, let's say, what you've done is product innovation in the bank. You go and look for product innovation job and start, that is what you'll be looking for, not banking and finance. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much. Just to add a little to that, what I'll just say is, if you equally check, what are the skill sets that are relevant right now? You start seeing things like critical thinking, strategic, leadership. So as she said, you work on your skills, because the truth is, for you to have spent that long, you've actually done all of those things. So instead of, because we are kind of title fixated here and it's not helping anybody, so throw it away. If I one of my that's on a lighter note, the guy will say, call me anything you want to call me, but how much are you giving me? That is what I'm concerned about. Carry your title, how much? But on a more serious note, in those 20 years, as she said, go look at these skills, because how we sell ourselves is the issue. You hear some people, and it's interesting. I was laughing. Dr. Malik had to join another program. I think it was Dr. Derry that was saying success leaves footprints. These two people, you can see they've not spoken on the same platform at the same time. This is the first time Dr. Derry and Dr. Malik are speaking on the same platform. And despite the fact that, and with Titi too, despite the fact that they didn't look at each other's notes, you are seeing they are converging. You heard Dr. Derry say, I paid, even though I knew more than the person, just to get access. You heard Malik repeat the same thing. But when you sit down and you are just fixed on what you know, you would stay where you are. I would, okay, so what I would advise, because of time, is she's dropped a title, links, you can reach out to her. We've overshot our time by 17 minutes, almost going to 20 minutes. For this read court, we have different courts in read. We've done read court 1. I'm not speaking today, so I can't go into long epistle for you. We are handing read court 2 to start read court 3, and we'll be sending out the details. We have your emails. We'll be sending out the details to you. However, in the next 2 weeks, we are having our webinar, our summits, and it is going to be amazing. These are our speakers for the summit. We are having Kikeme Shubi from Nigeria. We are having Mampai from South Africa, Jimmy Tewe from the US, Mayowa from UK, Peter from UK, Dr. Samekundayo, and of course, I'm the host. It's a 3-day summit. It's going to be amazing. Kike, please, can you drop the link so that people can start registering and you get the details and link for the summit. As our tradition is, we've really tried the Saturday evening, and it shows we want to grow. As our tradition is on the Reach Summit, please can we unmute our mics and tell our wonderful speakers a very big thank you, because that's just the only thing we can do. Now, thank you for pouring yourself, for giving so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so
It
much.
added value to us.
So much.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night and God bless.